I think you muted again, Paul. All right. While Paul is going through some technical difficulties here, I'll
Can
get
you
you
hear me?
through here. There we go. There we
Can you
go.
hear me? I, I
Yep.
I don't know what's going on. The mic wasn't working. We got the mic working. Then it stopped working as we were doing the intro, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley. I think I recognize that face. It's been so long. I think that's Zach Moore joining us again this evening. It's Sunday night. It's 8:30, which means the 2026 baseball season is officially upon us. Welcome in. Today's show brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Let me make sure I'm connected. I'm
Just went blank again. You can hear mute out.
It looks like we're just going to have to go with the, I guess it's the
Whatever it
webcam,
is.
whatever it is. Can you at least hear me loud and clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't had this issue once with this microphone. Not sure.
It's just me.
I don't know. But anyway, welcome into the Bat Around. Let's get past this microphone news. Today's show again brought to you by helpmygamblingproblem.org. If your loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. I swear I tested this microphone 5 times today, and it worked every single time. And then we actually get on the show, and it stops working.
I'm telling you, it's me.
Who the hell knows, man? But we're back. We're rolling live here on the Bat Around. The big news coming out of Sarasota, Orioles report to spring training, and then they signed Chris Bassitt to a 1-year deal worth $18.5 million, $500,000 in incentives if he makes 27 starts. Look, not the top of the rotation starter that everybody was looking for, but he raises the floor, gives the Orioles 6 legitimate big league starters. Career ERA of 3.64, career whip of 1.246 in 11 seasons. He's made 27 or more starts in 5 straight seasons, 25 plus in 6 of the last 7 years, and that's including the 2020 COVID-shortened season. 170 plus innings pitched in 4 straight seasons and a 45.9% ground ball rate last year, which was the second highest of his career, 43.4% for his career. Not quite Framber Valdez levels, but Framber Valdez reported to camp looking heavier than he's ever looked. So I'm so far, so good for me. Zach, your initial reaction to the Orioles signing Chris Bassitt?
I thought it was, it's a solid move. I mean, like you said, it's not moving the needle a ton, but it's just giving you that, it just solidifying the rest of the rotation. The rotation was already pretty decent. You and I have talked about this. We thought they were pretty good. I mean, it's hard to beat a guy at the top of your rotation in Kyle Bradish and even Trevin Rogers. And I've made the argument several times with Framber. Was he better than Kyle Bradish? And was he maybe even better than Trevor Rogers? I mean, the answer is no. Why would you want to pay him $38 million? Like, yeah, he's better than maybe some of the other guys. I get that. But for $38 million, like, you should be the guy taking the ball game one, and you're not. So, like, you get away with Chris Bassitt at 18.5. And I found it kind of funny is some of these other teams were complaining that the Orioles gave Chris Bassitt 18.5 because he wasn't worth it. I'm sorry, when you're an established veteran arm in this league who has won at the highest level, why are you not worth it? Would you think you were getting him for $10 million or something? Because that's what we gave Charlie Morton, or Sagano, 15. Like, I get it. It's just funny to finally see maybe the Orioles in that conversation now that other teams are complaining about. But listen, he's a solid 4 in this rotation, maybe a 3, depending wherever you want to use him. I don't even think it matters. I think once you get past Trevor Rogers, you got so many guys that are right within that same conversation that are in that same ballpark of what their stuff going to do and how their season's going to finish out. So you're just adding another guy to this rotation that's solid.
No, I 100% agree with you. And when you're looking at it, he's one of 8 or 9 guys in the entire league who's made 27 plus starts and thrown 170 plus innings each of the last 4 years. These guys don't grow on trees, not in this day and age. And look, I understand that you want a guy like Framber or a guy like Suarez, not because they would become the best pitcher on your team, because that's going to be Kyle Bradish, but because they make your floor that much higher and your ceiling that much higher. The problem is Ranger didn't want to be here, and Framber, the Orioles didn't really want him, because if they did, he'd be here. If the Orioles really wanted Framber Valdez, I mean, look, if you saw the video of him pitching a bullpen at spring training with the Tigers from the other day, that dude looks like he gained 30 pounds this offseason.
Doesn't white make you look bigger? Or is it black?
Yeah. No, black's slimming. That's why I'm wearing a black hoodie.
Okay.
You know, because I've gained 30 pounds this offseason. No, but look, we can sit here and it's going to sound like sour grapes if we say, no, they didn't want him and he got fat and his velo's down. But look, the fact of the matter is, Framber Valdez has reportedly been called a cancer in the clubhouse. He intentionally crossed up his catcher. That's obvious. The ERA in August and September last year was 6.05. Zach, you posted the fastball velocity was down from July to August, and then August to September. That's not great if you're going to get for $38 million a year. You look at a guy like Chris Bassitt. Is Chris Bassitt going to go out there and give you 205 innings, pitch to a 2.5 ERA, and win 20 games? Probably not, especially not at this point in his career. But you are looking at a guy that led the American League in wins in 2023, a guy that's going to post up every 5th day, give you 6 solid innings, probably 4 out of every 5 starts, and keep you in ball games. And you got him for $20 million cheaper than Valdez, and you only have to pay him for this year. You get to go into next offseason. Now, look, if Trevor Rogers has a big year this year, do you want to extend him going into next offseason? Do you want to pay him? Maybe you want to do that, but you're looking at maybe you don't pick up the option for Eflin. Maybe Bassitt, you don't bring him back, and now you've got that extra money. You can go spend it on one of the all-time free agent starting pitching classes when you're looking at guys like Tarek Skubal and Freddie Peralta and Kevin Gausman, potentially Corbin Burns and Michael King, Chris Sale, just to name a few. It is a huge free agent starting pitching class, and I get it. The Orioles have never spent on a starting pitcher, and they don't give multi-year deals to starting pitchers. This isn't the class to have done it in. It just isn't the class to have done it in. Now, next year, if we're having the same conversation next February, if there's no lockout, there will be, but hopefully they'll be playing baseball at some point. If we're having the same conversation next year, then we all have a right to be pissed. But let's pump the brakes. Let's look at the fact that the Orioles have 6 guys for their rotation who can potentially go out there and give you 6 innings of 2-run ball every single night. And with this offense, that's what we're not talking about, is how good this offense is going to be. With the way that this offense is going to swing the bats this year, you don't need 2-3 guys at the top of your rotation pitching to a 2.5. You need a bunch of guys that can pitch under a 4, and you're going to win 90 ball games.
What's a win for you for Chris Bassitt? Is it another 100? We'll say 160 innings and a sub 4 ERA.
Yeah, that's a win.
Like a 3.95 again.
That's an absolute win, because you didn't sign him to be your ace. I mean, you look. Did anybody outside of Trevor Rogers have that ERA last year?
No,
not one starter. It was Trevor Rogers at 1.81, and then Dean Kramer at like 4.12. And that's it. Nobody's talking about Dean Kramer. All Dean Kramer does is go out there and pitch to a 4 ERA and 170 innings each year. That dude posts up.
We should be a little honest with ourselves. If Dean could get out of April and get his head out of his ass in April, Dean pitches to a sub 4 ERA every year. It's just he gets lit so bad in April, he can't climb under it.
I think Dean Kramer's career ERA since 2022, from May 1st on, is like 3.58. Yeah. He's a legitimate big league pitcher. And the real question here, with 6 legitimate big league starters, is there an odd man out, or do they go to a 6-man rotation? And I know that we always say they're never going to do a 6-man rotation, but hear me out on this. One, this all depends on. I wanted
to tell you about Dean Kramer. Career 3.88 in every month of his career except for April.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
Yeah.
solid. Pretty
Yeah.
solid there.
Look,
And his FIP's down to a 3.5, so he
Yeah.
could be better.
He's a quality big league starter. Quality big league starter.
They just got to figure out April.
Yeah.
That's the big thing with him. And maybe short hair Dean in April this year might help. Maybe the WBC helps him get going. Yeah, it's still below the hat, but it's like it's not down the shoulder anymore or just above the shoulder. It's kind of just underneath the hat now.
Well, and if you look at it, back in 2022, which was his best season, he pitched to a 3.20 ERA. He was like the second half, he was their best starter. He missed the entire month of April. He got hurt warming up in the bullpen, missed the entire month of April, and then he came out and he dominated in May, and he was off to the races. So when I look at that, I see a guy that, I don't know, maybe it's pitching in 60-degree temperatures. Maybe he needs to pitch in a little bit warmer weather. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's like the pitching version of Anthony Santander. I don't know. Yeah. That poor guy. He's out 5 to 6 months. We could talk about that later if we get to it. But look, this rotation, it's really going to fall on what are they doing with Zach Eflin? Are they going to slow play him? Or if
I don't see. Yeah, why not? I mean, he's healthy. Let's start with that. He's fully healthy. He could start on opening day if they needed him to. But why not? Like, you've got a solid rotation now. We don't need you to rush. We don't need you to kind of maybe pitch through a little bit of pain. If you got to take a day off and sit in a cold tub, so be it. Cool, man. I'm completely fine starting you with April and or March and April in the bullpen or 6-man. They have 5 days off. That's pretty solid. They have 5 days off. I mean, they're going to play about 20 games, but they don't need him. They can let him just say, hey, you want to go and pitch 10 innings this month? Make sure, throw some bullpens and whatnot. Cool. We're completely great with it. If there's a spot start we need, cool. If there's a rain out and a doubleheader, hey, you're our guy. But they have the ability now to just say, you know what? We know what you got in that arm. Just let me know when you're ready.
Right. But then you have to look at the fact that if they have 5 starters that are all dealing and they don't need him, what do you do with him? And so that's why I look at this and I say to myself, if Eflin's ready to go on opening day, 6-man rotation. And the reason for that, guys like Bradish, Rogers, and Eflin, they all made less than 20 starts last year. They all threw under 110 innings. You have 5 days off the first month of the year, and then you only have 5 days off the next 2 months. May and June, you have 2 days off in May, 3 days off in June. Yeah, you would carry a 7-man bullpen, but Cade Povich, Tyler Wells, Brandon Young, Yarmil Geraldo, Grant Wolfram, Yennier Cano, Chase McDermott, Anthony Nunez, and Cameron Foster are all on the 40-man roster and all have minor league options remaining. Plus, Albert Suarez is on a minor league contract, so if he makes a big league roster, he has an option. Right. Then you look at the guys that don't have options. Aiken, Enns, Helsley, and Kittredge, they're already locks. Rico Garcia can start the year in the minors, but would have to clear waivers if he makes the active roster, and they need to demote him again. Jackson Kowar, who they just acquired, he has no options. He's on a major league deal. So you look at, chances are he's going to be unless they DFA him, and Zach and I were talking earlier today, and he thinks he could be a DFA guy. 6'5", nasty fastball changeup combo, and he's got developing a wipeout slider. Those guys, he did clear waivers with Seattle, or I'm sorry, he didn't clear waivers with Seattle, and the Twins picked him up, and then the Orioles traded with the Twins to get him for cash considerations. They have, the whole point being, on their 40-man roster, they have a ton of guys who have minor league options. So if your bullpen starts crapping out middle to the end of April, or some guys aren't doing so well, you can option them out. You can live with a 6-man rotation. Keeps these guys healthy and fresh. It also allows you to see which starter is maybe not primed for a good year, and then you go to that 5-man rotation. I don't think it's the worst idea. It's the best way to keep all 6 of your starters happy, because there's not one guy in that rotation that you can justify to them outside of Eflin, if he's healthy, that you can justify saying, thanks for your services, but we need you more in the bullpen. I just don't think there's a guy that you can do that with.
I got a name for you too, because once Felix Bautista goes on the 60-day, right, that opens up another 40-man spot. Hans Kraus, the guy they picked up from the Angels. Now he's He's a big time bullpen arm, and he's had success in this league, but he has had a lot of injuries in this league, and he's got a funky arm delivery, and that's why he always gets hurt. But he's also got an MLB option left, or MILB option left. So when Felix goes on the 40-man, if Hans Kraus has a nice spring training, does he make it and now become a guy that you can flip-flop back and forth for a couple weeks? You've got Nestor Graman you could probably use. There's several guys that they could probably mess with on the 40-man to get him up and down with Felix's spot. I mean, you could use it on Albert Suarez. You could use it on Levi Wells, Cameron Weston, Josh Walker. Luis De Leon, if you want to get a little funky, it doesn't matter. It has a little bit of option to play there. And I honestly think that we might see another one guy that is on the 40-man go on a 60-day that we just don't know about yet. Things happen in spring training. So they're going to have options. And I think, like you were talking about with having the days off, I don't think you really even need to use it right away. Where you can go in there with the 6-man rotation, kind of keep guys fresh. And then once you hit that 5th day off, okay, now we bring up that extra bullpen arm, and now we kind of just go after it and just a revolving door here between that one spot and just keep bringing guys up and down and keeping on the taxi squad. And we're fresh in the bullpen, even with a 6-man rotation, because now you guys are rested going into that long stretch. And then you definitely implement a 6-man, and now you can kind of get that extra day rest, plus have a good bullpen because you can keep shuffling guys out. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's the easiest way to keep. Let's say that all these guys go out there and they're dudes and they're benefiting from the extra rest because Bassitt's getting a little bit older. Most of these guys are in their 30s now. Some of these guys are coming off an injury. You're keeping them fresh, and then you're like, look, we have a legitimate chance to go win a championship right now because of how fresh we've kept these arms. We're going into September with a starting rotation that's into September and October, the starting rotation that's much fresher than anybody else that we're going up against right now. It's not the worst plan in the world. I used to be totally against a 6-man rotation, but when I think about trying to have that conversation with any of these 6 dudes, who do you have that conversation with? I just don't think that you can.
You don't. You don't.
Right. So for me, it's all signs to me say 6-man rotation. And then it also gives you that wiggle room if somebody gets off to a slow start. Let's say that Bassitt comes in and he looks like Charlie Morton did in April. You can rebound from that because you don't need a 5th starter really, let alone a 6th starter. It just especially in the month of April with those 5 days off, it gives you even more rest so that you can then go to a 5-man rotation later in the season. These guys are ready to go. It makes a lot of sense, especially with the roster that you have. Now, here's a question I have for you. And originally I wasn't going to talk about it, but then people were talking about it in my Twitter feed. Who's your opening day starter?
Kyle Bradish.
That's what I
don't even need to think about it. I listened to the radio, and I heard it should be Chris Bassitt, and I want to throw up in my mouth. Don't take it the wrong way, but I just said that. Listen, Kyle Bradish has done. Yeah, he's done a lot for this organization, and he's fought his way back through 1.5, 2 injuries, whatever you want to call it. Came back last year, dominated again. Like he's your guy, and it's not even a question. He said today it should be Trevor Rogers because of what he just did, which is great to hear. I mean, how many teams can you really look around the league and say that they have 2 guys that could potentially start on opening day? Either one of those 2 guys, I don't think it's a big deal. I think Rogers would tell you it should be Bradish. Bradish would tell you it should be Rogers. But I think most of the fan base is going to tell you it should be Bradish. And if he's the guy who's going to take game 1 in a playoff series, why not start at opening day? I don't need him to go 7 innings. I really don't. If he gets me through 5 and let up a run or 2, cool. My offense should do their job, and we should go win that ball game. Yeah. But I'm throwing Kyle Bradish on the hill.
Yeah, Kyle Bradish is my opening day starter. I was getting pushback saying it should be Trevor Rogers, that he deserves it. And I said,
either one. You wouldn't hear a complaint out of me if it was either one of them.
And somebody made the point, and they said that it was tongue in cheek, but Kyle Bradish's hoodie giveaway is game 2 of the year. So, but imagine that hoodie giveaway after he just went down and dominated for 5 or 6 innings that the previous game. They were saying that Trevor Rogers deserves it. And yeah, Trevor Rogers deserves it if Kyle Bradish isn't on this roster. On opening day, you start your ace. Yeah. And your ace is Kyle Bradish. Kyle Bradish has been an ace since July of 2022. He's your ace. He was 4th in Cy Young voting in 2023. came out, was better than he was in 23 and 24 for 9 starts until he had Tommy John surgery. Then he came out and was better than that in 6 starts to end the year last year. He is your best pitcher. He is a true number 1. He is your opening day starter. And if they say, hey, Kyle, we want you to be our opening day starter, he's not going to say, no, give it to Trevor. He's gonna accept it and say Trevor deserves it, but if they want me to do it, I'm doing it. You know, how many opening days do you really get to start in your career? There's a handful of guys that do it every year. Otherwise, it's the next best guy. So Kyle Bradish for me is your opening day starter until we see otherwise. There is a comment here that made me laugh. British Raven 19, PV3 and microphone issues, name a better partnership. I don't know what I don't know what the hell happened here. You know what though? I got a new webcam, and so there's no delay, and I don't have to have 4 screens in front of me. So I'm good. I'm good with regards to that. So we're going to get back into the bullpen and everything here coming up in just a minute. I want to remind everybody today's show is brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Kevin Pillar, Mike Bordick, CBS Sports, Charles Davis, and clips from Glenn's interview with former Ravens coach John Harbaugh, you can find them in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature, PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube page. I don't know when Glenn moved to 11 a.m., but the show used to be at 10 and now it's at 11. Is it still a 2-hour show or is it just 1 now?
I think it's still 2.
Still a 2-hour show?
Yeah.
Maybe because of his WBAL commitments. I'm not sure. But
I think he said he's taking off Fridays now.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, the dude works his butt off. He has his hand in a lot of different boxes. So good for Glenn. And no matter what time it is, it's going to be airing at 3 a.m. You should be tuning in because Glenn Clark Radio is legit. Like I said, we'll get back to the bullpen shortly. We do need to talk about the other big news coming out of Sarasota. And that's Jackson Holliday is out likely until May after breaking his right hamate bone and getting surgery to have it removed. While Jordan Westburg, stop me if you heard this one before, dude got hurt sleeping again. Straining his right oblique, though the injury happened nearly 4 weeks ago at this point. So he's expected to be ready for opening day. He's going to miss the start of Grapefruit League action, which, believe it or not, is just 5 days, well, really more like 4 days away. So Grapefruit League action starting up this coming Friday. He's going to miss the start of that, but maybe he's a week or 2 behind. Let's talk about Westburg first. Stayed healthy. He had a hamstring injury his freshman year of college, kept him out a little more than 2 weeks. But other than that, he stayed healthy in college. He was healthy throughout the minor leagues. He was healthy his first year in Baltimore. And in the last 2 seasons, 107 games, 85 games, whether it's the back injury from a sofa bed or it's the oblique or it's twisting his ankle around the second base or pulling his hamstring, these injuries they're real piling. Things. They're piling up, and people are starting to make comparisons to Nolan Reimold. Is the dude?
We haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there yet. But if he misses significant time again this year, we start. Then
you can say it.
You know, the whispers are already starting. You know,
Reimold just had a bunch of stupid injuries. I mean, Westburg, got hit and he missed a lot of time, and you ran around the bag and kind of slipped. I mean, not much you can do there, but I mean. They especially getting hit, but I'm not that concerned about Westburg right now. I mean, he's already running, which is obviously like you're into your progression already. He'd probably start throwing this week. It may miss 4 games, maybe. Maybe not. I mean, they said he got an MRI, and no one said that they found anything in the MRI, so it means he's clean. So he's not technically hurt. He's just sore. And this point of the year,
they said that the MRI did show the strained oblique. That's where they learned that's where they learned that he had the strained oblique was because
because when I read it, they didn't say anything. They just said he had an MRI and it was clean. But either way, I mean, if he's already running, like it's no big deal. He'll be back soon. I don't even care.
The thing about Jordan Westburg is he's got to stay on the field. If that guy can play 140 games, he's a 30 homer, 100 RBI guy. He's a natural born run producer. He's
Austin Hayes right now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a guy who absolutely works his butt off, and he gives you 150% every single freaking play, every rep, every batting practice, and he gets hurt. And some guys just try too hard and can't stay healthy. I'm not gonna Same thing with Austin Hayes. I'm not going to dog him for it because you got the best every second of when he was on the field. I mean, he'll figure it out. I don't think he has any kind of chronic issues. I think he just has stupid issues right now. And to quite frankly, the entire organization for the last 3 years has had stupid issues. So, I mean, to kind of single him out, it sucks because I get it, but I mean, outside of Holliday, like the whole freaking team got hurt last year. So,
and then
we're just on point to start again this year.
I don't want to say it's funny, but it's ironic that the entire team got hurt last year except for Holliday. And then he's the most significant injury.
The first one too.
The first injury. So
maybe we finally got it through the whole roster. We don't have to worry about it again anymore.
Oh my God, I love that way of thinking about it for sure. But look, and Westburg, the thing with him, man, I didn't realize he does not strike out a ton. He doesn't strike out a lot.
He's a grinder.
He also doesn't walk a lot. He needs to. I think he needs to improve those on base capabilities. Also, I was looking at it. He's more suited for second base. His defense at third base, negative outs above average compared to second base, where he's an above average defender.
Well, the arm strength's not that great.
Yeah, and so then you look at it, and with Holliday out, do you buy Elias's claims that Holliday's injury happened the day after they traded for Blaze Alexander? I believe it, because why would they lie to us? It's either he's full of it and they made the trade for Blaze Alexander because Holliday was hurt, or they got extremely lucky to have traded for him and then Holliday got hurt next. Either way, is Blaze Alexander your everyday second baseman until Holliday comes back, or do you move Westburg over to second and start Mayo at third base to keep
Probably
his
Westburg? No, I would start Blaze Alexander. You don't put Westburg. Mayo at third. Unless you're really trying to. You do it in spring training to kind of show them off a little bit, because you need an athlete. Nobody wants just a first baseman,
right?
Unless you're the Pirates. But no, Blaze is a great third baseman. He's got a great arm, good glove. So, Westburg's made that transition before. Look, if Mayo's going to be a first baseman, keep him at first base. He's not going to get any better flip-flopping back and forth. I think he's a great athlete. I think he would probably get better swapping between right field and first base than he would first and third. That's just me. I would just roll a Blaze pretty much every day. Let him be my guy for a little bit. It's unfortunate about Jackson. It sucks. I don't think they made the trade because of him. I think maybe we just finally got lucky and it just worked out that way. They probably said, they had that conversation. They knew Westburg was hurt coming into camp. They knew this oblique was an issue, right? He had the MRI. So maybe this trade was because of Westburg, and they said, oh, shoot, we don't have a backup. We don't want to play Coby Mayo at third. We need to trade Coby Mayo. We need a third baseman. While we're at it, why not just get a guy that plays everything? Like, do we want Jeremiah Jackson to do it? They probably would have if they couldn't have swung this trade. I think they would have been fine with Jackson playing third once in a while, but not second, not short. So Blaze kind of fit a lot of rules there. But I think it was just sheer dumb luck. I think the trade was more because of Westburg, just not knowing you don't have that Mateo there anymore to move guys around.
Yeah. And I'm not sold that Leody Taveras is making this team. Like,
either. They'll eat that $2 million.
People talk about him being their fourth outfielder, like he didn't hit like 160 last year. Like his batting average.
He's a great glove. Don't get me wrong, great glove, but I don't want to see him in the lineup.
So then let me ask you this, because the batting peripherals have gone down each of the last 3 years. He was a 2.5 win player in 2022, and then he's just been a bad offensive baseball player since 23.
Yeah.
The defense is good. If you're going to have a fourth outfielder that plays great defense and isn't much with the bat, shouldn't you just give that to Enrique Bradfield Jr.? I
think Taveras probably had a spot on this team prior to Blaze, and then since Blaze, because he can play everywhere, it's like now it's like, well, they're probably going to cut Taveras and they'll stick with Blaze, and then if they need a Bradfield, then they'll bring Bradfield in, or they can bring in Fabian if they don't want to start his clock too soon. Fabian's got a great defense in center field. Not going to really hit, but like think of
he hit the ball out of the ballpark though.
Yeah, who was the guy they brought up last year? He just signed with St. Louis the other day, but he was in between AAA and AA for a while and had a couple spots starting center field for us.
His last name like Alexander or Anderson or something like that?
I thought it was Jackson. Um,
let
let me see, Bay Sox.
wasn't
But
there a guy
anyway, he's
named
going to fill that kind of role.
wasn't there a guy
Where
named
he's going
Greg
to just
Allen who was getting at bats for them last year
Greg
too?
Allen got some, yeah. Um,
I feel like the guy's last name
God, let
was
me
Anderson.
see. I need to see the stats. That's what I need. Because he got a couple of bats. But anyway, he's going to fill that kind of role for us. Jordan Adams. There you go. Former big leaguer. We had him for a little bit. He was like 25. We brought him up for a cup of tea too. Why not play Fabian like Adams? If you don't really want to start Bradfield's clock just yet, I don't think the defense is that far off from Bradfield. It's not Gold Glove, but I think it's above average. It's probably right on par with what you're going to Blaze Alexander, which I think is serviceable if you need it. So I wouldn't start it on Bradfield yet until he gets himself rolling. I do like the stance change that I've seen already, so we'll see. We'll see there.
Do you all think Heston has a real chance to make the final roster from James Reckling? No. What would I don't want to be too egregious with or overstating it, but what would Heston Kjerstad have to do to make this roster outside of hitting 800 with 8 home runs in Grapefruit League action? Because I think that the only way is if multiple outfielders get hurt. I think that's the only way.
Yeah. Or Basayo gets hurt and they need a left-handed DH. Which, I mean, Basayo hasn't started a season healthy in, 3 years?
Yeah.
That's possible. So who knows? I mean, he looks good. He looks in shape in camp, but I mean, he's had that lingering elbow issue for years. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible. I think just the right guy has to get hurt. But if they don't, then he's probably slated for AAA. And if you go down there and hit another 13 home runs in a month, then hey, you did your job. Things can happen after that. But it solely rides on him.
Another
if
guy
he wants to make
it
back here, you have to slug his way back.
Another guy who made a good swing change this offseason. He was hitting at the Holliday's family
ranch. Just call it a ranch.
Yeah, the family ranch
compound.
Yeah, right where he was hitting. He was hitting with Matt Holliday and Jackson Holliday, and he decided to do it. What kind of is startling to me is that it was Heston's decision to get rid of the leg kick, and that the Orioles didn't tell him to work on this last year. And he hasn't played since July. Maybe they tried to get him to do it, and he was just too much of a head case. I don't know what happened.
They did work. So when he went down to AAA, they did try it, and you could watch some of the videos of his BP, and he would do it sometimes and then forget, because it's muscle memory. You don't really make drastic changes like that in season very often. Towards the end of the season, when it was in 2024, is when Holliday made it. Was 2 or 3 weeks left when they were screwing around in the cage. Those kind of changes happen. But mid-season, you typically don't see a drastic change because that's a big deal. That's a timing change, and that throws things way off. So yeah, he probably did want to change because he knew his life was on the line at this point. And the Orioles are probably just it's too much. There's just no point right now. Fight through it. So I can see a little bit of disparity there, but I mean, other than that, I think it's probably on par.
That poor guy. The Baltimore Banner shares a video of him. It was at the Baltimore Banner or the Baltimore Battery. They show a video of his new swing, and it's of him swinging and missing at a pitch. They couldn't have gotten the one that he hit just before that. That was a home run over the 400 feet away center field fence. It was the swing and miss. That poor guy. But yeah,
I think somebody got a video of him hitting the home run though.
Oh, did they? I'll have to go back and take a look at it. But
it was off Aiken.
Look, it's no way.
Shocker.
Well, that's a lefty on lefty, and look, Heston did hit lefties throughout his minor league career very well.
I believe he got the only hit off Trevor Rogers too.
No, that was Adley. Adley,
okay. Well, Adley's right-handed, but I'm talking about lefty.
Oh, he only gave up the one hit.
Okay.
Which was
maybe it's a different lefty then.
But I do know that Kjerstad changed the swing. He's going to have to slug his way back here, like you said. He's going to start the year at AAA, barring a trade. He's going to start the year at AAA, and have to work his way back here. Now, and it's a good problem to have if you get through April and he's hitting 350 with 6 home runs. You're like, okay, do that for another month or two, and let's see what you can do back up at the big league level. But former number 2 overall pick, I think that you have to let him figure it out again. And if he does, and he forces your hand, then he forces your hand.
I mean, listen, Ryan O'Hearn didn't figure it out till he was almost 29 years old. Like, I don't want to say there's time because time is running out and it's against you, but there is time for him to have a big league career, whether it's here or somebody else. You just got to hit, and that's what Ryan O'Hearn did. Now he's got himself a nice contract, so just got to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best. That's the quickest way back to the majors is just start hitting again. J Chaz 007 must have read the Ken Rosenthal article. Need to trade Mayo, way too much value, more than Mountie at least, to just be sitting on the bench. Ken Rosenthal said today that the Orioles are actively shopping both Mountcastle and Mayo. I don't imagine it's for a starting pitcher, but I have to imagine it's for some significant relief help. You mentioned already that the Pirates need a first baseman. They could be interested in either one of them. I would imagine that they'd be willing to give up more to get a Mayo who's young, under team control, and can be a really exciting player for them in Pittsburgh. What are you trading Coby Mayo for at this point? Because you already have 6 men in your starting rotation plus 4 guys that could be starters at the big league level behind them.
If it landed me one of Pittsburgh's massive amounts of pitching prospects, I don't care. Throw them in AAA for the year. Because I mean, think about it. Next year, right now, Trevor Rogers is a free agent. Eflin's a free agent. Bassitt's a free agent. And who's the third? Who's the fourth?
I don't think there's a fourth. I know Kramer's a free agent after 28 or in 2028.
I thought there was 4. Maybe I'm wrong. But either way, you're missing 3 guys. Yes, you have Gibson, who could be available. Yes, you have DeLeon, who could be available. Why not acquire a guy who could be available? Now, you do have Patrick Riley coming back. We could keep going on and on and on. But if you had to bring in a guy who didn't help the big league team now, but he would later, I think I'd be okay with that. Because that's the same thing Coby Mayo is going to do. He's not going to help the team right now, unless there was a significant injury. But, I mean, it depends. I mean, what else do you really need? Bullpen? Could you trade him for a closer at the deadline? Maybe. But if he's sitting on the bench, he has no value. If he's sitting in AAA, like, he's not on the top 100 list. Yeah, people know his value and he's pretty decent if he's putting up monster numbers, but what if he's not? Then you're really screwed.
Right.
You know, what if he's just hitting home runs but hitting a buck, 240 again? Like, that's not valuable. So they got to play a hand here, and I think they're trying to get moved quickly. The question is does he, do you just rip all the value out of it and just take a guy who's on a 1-year flyer? Like, would Kansas City trade Chris Bubic for him? Because he's a free agent. I doubt it. I really do. San Diego needs a first baseman, but are they trading Morjan for him? Probably not. But I don't know. I really don't know.
I imagine it would have to be like you said, maybe one of those pitching prospects that's close to the majors but can spend the year at AAA. I can't imagine it would be like a Chris Bubic, because now you have 7 starters that legitimately should be in your everyday rotation. So for me, it's are you getting a back end reliever for him plus some prospects? Are you getting some top pitching prospects?
But who has that?
Right.
Who has it available at least?
Yeah.
Colorado doesn't.
That trade would have been made by now. Right. So you may be actively shopping him. It's just, what are you shopping for? What is your return? Are you looking
San Diego to me makes the most sense for a back end guy, because they've talked numerous times about wanting to move off of Mason Miller. Okay, well, you still have Morjan, you still have Estrada. You got 3 freaking closers. So could Mayo, and they need a first baseman, really. I think they're going to try Nick Castellanos. Like, come on.
Right.
Nick can't hit.
No.
It's just it's a match made in heaven here. St. Louis, maybe for JoJo, but JoJo's a rental. Like, I'm going to try and acquire a guy who has a little bit of service time left if I'm giving up Mayo. I just don't think Mayo has a whole lot of value. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's just a first baseman. Who needs a first baseman? Like, look around the league. Outside of these teams that are terrible. No. What's the point?
Right.
They're both right-handed.
Contingency clause in case one of them can't hit, and that's the thing. I don't know who you're trading him for at this point. It's rumored that the Nationals could be looking to get a first baseman here. I just don't know. Look, if you can get Mason Miller for
it would cost more than him, obviously, but I would definitely throw him in the trade.
Yeah, and Mason Miller, from what we hear, wants to be a starter again. at some point. I don't know why. You can make $25 million
3 spots
a
open next year, so
yeah. Look, there's if they want to trade Mayo, they'll get it done. I've been saying it on the show for the last 3 weeks. The Orioles roster, as it currently stands, from an offensive standpoint, doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. You've got a left fielder playing center field. You've got a guy who should really be a DH at this point in his career, platooning in left field with a guy who can't hit lefties in Dylan Beavers, at least not to this point in his minor league or big league career. You've got 3 first basemen. You've got another guy in Taylor Ward who probably shouldn't be in the outfield either. Should probably be DHing, but you need him out there. Basayo and Basayo just signed an 8-year extension with you, so he's going to play every day, whether it's a DH catcher or first base. Adley's going to play every single day. So the fact that they haven't made a trade yet kind of blows my mind because 4 straight weeks I'm saying this. The roster doesn't make any sense, dude. It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense for this time of the year because everybody wants to get their team down to spring training and see what they got. And then once they see, like, okay, so-and-so made that jump. So-and-so may have regressed a little bit. We have room here to let go of this guy because so-and-so might be close. Like, I'd say in the next 2 weeks, you might see some trades start to happen around baseball. Once they get guys in, kind of get rolling a little bit and seeing who's where, basically. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you to some extent. I'm very high on Cowser. I think Cowser gonna have a fantastic season.
I hope so, man.
You know, yeah, I mean, he just wasn't healthy last year, and honestly, he did some pretty incredible things last year for having broken ribs for 2 months and still gave us everything. He could have sat out. He had nothing to play for.
Yeah,
nothing. But he was there every day. You know, it ain't easy to try and say yes, 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 no on a curveball when you have broken ribs right here and you're trying to hold it off. And it ain't easy. It ain't even easy to breathe and take a poop with broken ribs. And this dude's out here playing Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Look.
You know,
I'm high on him. I'm high.
I know.
I think these new guys got him going. He's a contact hitter, right? That the old hitting coaches, I think, try to make into a power hitter because he has light tower power. And these new guys are just going to be like, look, dude, you're very good when you use the whole way. You are very fast. Let's start using the whole field, hitting for doubles, and you're still going to hit 20 to 25 home runs by accident because you're just that strong. Just go be you. And I think it's going to relax him a little bit, and he's going to just have a great season.
And I know that it sounds there is nobody outside of maybe Jason Benowitz that wants to see Colton Cowser succeed more than me. I don't dislike the guy. I think the guy should be an all-star caliber player because he's a 5th overall pick. And I've seen the way that he can hit. We've seen it in the minors. We've seen him hit 475-foot home runs. We've seen how strong the arm is. The guy has the potential to be a 5-tool player. And he just hasn't realized it yet because whether it's from injury, whether it's from the old pitching coaches, the approach that they were teaching, whatever it was, he hasn't figured it out at the big league level. Do I believe that he can? Absolutely. I just haven't seen anything that tells me that he's going to at this point. But I would love for him. I would love to look up at the scoreboards at a game in September and see Cowser's hitting 260 with 23 home runs. Like, I would love to see that. And I believe that I know he has that in him. It's funny. His dad liked one of my posts a couple of weeks ago where I said, I don't hate Cowser. I get infuriated with him because you're a 5th overall pick. You are so much better than what you've shown. Let's get it going, man. And like his dad actually happened to like that post.
Dale's a good dude. I've chatted with Dale a couple times.
And he keeps it real. Like, I don't want people to think that I hate this guy. I don't hate Cowser. What my eyes have told me is that he's not as good as he should be. He should be way better than he's been to this point as big league. And I don't think that that's an unfair criticism to look at what he's done. So
I think he'd probably agree with you face to face.
Yeah. So if Cowser goes out there this year, and look, we both thought that he was going to have a big year last year. He got to spring training. He was in good shape. He was driving the ball, and he was hitting off-speed pitches. And then he got hurt the first series of the year. He didn't come back, and then he didn't come back for what, 2 months? He came back mid-May, just in time for
a month later breaks his ribs.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
and then he got a concussion, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So I can look at this guy and I can say he is so much better than what he's shown, and he's been kind of, he didn't have, and he didn't have a full off season last year because he broke his thumb the last game of the year in the playoffs. Broke his thumb.
You know what? That irritates me when I see people talk about that, because the guy throwing it has the same arm angle. The ball coming out of the same spot between the slider and a two-seamer, right? And two-seamers run. They run a lot, especially when you let go one that gets away from you. It's not easy. You literally get 0.4 of a second to make a decision on a ball that is going to drop or slide. So I forget the guy's name, but when I looked at it, his slider had a 29-inch run, right? So you get 0.4 of a second to decide if you're going to swing at a ball that has 29 inches of run away from you. So when you start that swing and it's a two-seamer, you're screwed. You're screwed. And it got away from him, so it wasn't even a good pitch. It got away from him. But because his slider has 29 inches of movement, you have to swing. And he got hit. And, like, I've been there trying to catch that, and it sucks. It broke my thumb. I've had one break my thumb. Mike Gonzalez, I don't know if y'all remember him, came over here for 1 year as a closer, and he sucked. On a rehab assignment, broke my thumb because he threw a freaking sinker that dropped about 30 inches at 96. Good luck in the box.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. In the moment, and the moment was huge. It was the bases loaded. The bases were loaded in a one-run game. You haven't done anything offensively, and he's trying to not fail. And he knows what he's got. Like you said, the guy has the same. He
sold out for a slider. He sold out for it.
Because, guys, I don't care how good big league players are. Unless they know what pitch is coming, they're cheating. They're getting started.
Well, they sell
early.
out for one pitch. That's
exactly.
It. They get it, they hit it, and they don't, they look bad.
That's what I'm saying. When I'm saying cheating, I don't mean they're actually cheating. I mean they're getting started early because you try to hit 98 miles an hour without getting started early. Try it. Try to hit 90. You know what? To all the lacrosse players that I've ever met who think that hitting a baseball is easy, try to hit 70 miles an hour. You will fail every single time if you don't play baseball already. So, like, I can forgive Kowser for that because, like you said, the same arm slot, the guy throws 29 inches of run on a slider and his two-seamer. And he's a high leverage reliever in a playoff game, so you know that guy throws 98 miles an hour on top of that.
Isn't that what it was? 98, I thought.
Yeah. So you look at that. If it's you or me in there, I'm swinging and I'm probably getting hit in the face by that pitch while swinging and missing for strike three. Like,
dude, guys get hit in the nuts all the time because they're selling out for a specific pitch and it ain't that pitch.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a guy swing at a pitch that is thrown at a breaking ball that's thrown 58 feet, when you see him swing and flail like that, that dude is sitting dead red on a fastball and got thrown a breaking ball that he was not expecting, and he looks like an idiot. That's what happens. You're selling out for a pitch. You think your pitch is coming. You sell out for it. And if it's not that pitch, you look really, really stupid. Like, that's in any level of baseball that you play at, let alone the big leagues. You know, so, look, I would love for Colton Cowser to have a huge year this year. I will, like, if he comes out and hits 260 with 25 home runs, I'll be his biggest fan because I know that that's what he can do. I know, and man, I would just love to see him spraying the gaps all year because that's the type of hitter that he's been throughout his life. And to try to see him try to change into a power hitter and try to get that launch angle and try and just pull the ball 480 feet into right center field all the time. It like you said, it changed the type of hitter that he is. And
I mean, Adley's been
doing. I was about to say Adley's been doing the exact same thing. We're going to get into Adley here in just a minute. But coming this week, a new print issue of Press Box will hit stands. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg looks at Cal Ripken Jr.'s new life at 65, including his role with the Orioles ownership group. And also inside, we learn more about new Ravens head coach Jesse Minter and meet college lacrosse players from all of the area programs. You can find the new issue for free at all throughout the region, including at all Baltimore area High's dairy stores. Or you can read the entire issue at PressBoxOnline.com. I butchered that read. It's the first time I've read it. I probably should have read it once over. It's been a while, so my apologies on that one. I do want to talk about Adley. Adley last spring hit 357. He had 3 home runs, 8 RBI, and he had an OPS north of 1,000. Then he comes out on opening day and he hits 2 home runs. And we're like, oh, this is the Adley I remember. And then he went ice cold. He started to get hot again, strained the oblique. Comes back from the oblique. As soon as the bat starts to heat up again, strains the other oblique. Hit 220 on the year. It's been a year and a half of bad offensive baseball from Adley. From all reports and all the videos I've seen, Adley is driving the ball with authority.
He looks
He's
yoked.
He looked yoked last year too.
He looks yoked,
and he's making consistent hard contact. Trevor Rogers went out there and was a freaking dude yesterday. Faced 10 hitters, struck out 7 of them. 3 guys made contact. Adley with a ground out. Adley with what they would have deemed to be a ground ball base hit. And Cowser flew out. Everybody else struck out. So Adley had 2 of the 3 contacts against Trevor Rogers. What reason do we have to believe right now, Zach, that Adley is going to get back to his pre-All-Star break 2024 form?
I think they finally have a competent hitting coach. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but I did.
Dude, I spread so much hate for people on this show, man. You're good.
No, I mean, you listen. The guys that they've had have been okay. I think they've all been kind of stuck in that that Mike Elias way that we need to treat, home run, home run, home run, home run. I don't think Donnie Ecker's putting up with that crap. And I know that he's not even the hitting coach, but I think he's the mastermind behind everything. And Dustin Lin is very good. What he did in Philadelphia kind of mixes in line with what Donnie likes. But Donnie's a freaking dude with the iPad. And there's a reason why the Orioles have heavily invested in all this videoing of the hitters now. It used to be kind of just in games. Well, now, okay, we're in freaking BP, and you've got heavy video on the pitcher and the video. And guess who's dissecting all of it? Donnie Ecker. And Donnie Ecker is the guy who landed Pete Alonso. He went in down there, told him how he could get better. Donnie Ecker's the guy that told Michael King basically, hey, you suck. This is why I think you suck, and this is why I think I can make you better. So they almost landed Michael King through Donnie Ecker. Donnie's a dude. Donnie's a dude. And I think he's going to break these guys down to a way that the Orioles have probably never broken anything down to a guy before. And I think we're just going to be better, just all around. And Philadelphia's had some very solid years offensively. Yes, they are all getting older. Yes, they've gone through some incredible slumps, but they always found a way out of it. Their hitting coach is one of the best in baseball. I just think that Lind learned a ton there. Like from one of the most respected hitting coaches in the game. Donnie is so respected in baseball. Like he's hired by the Celtics too. People don't realize that. He's respected in basketball too for just how good he is at breaking down video. And just to have that here now, Donnie might be a freaking manager within 2 years. Like that's how good this guy is. And I just think it's an element of the game that this organization just hasn't had ever. And they're going to start taking it serious. And I think it's going to just going to pay dividends for a lot of guys, in my opinion.
For me, I have no idea the way that Craig Alvarez is going to manage this ball club. But everything I've seen from him, right. Everything I've seen from him, everything I've heard from him tells me that this dude is who everybody said Brandon Hyde was. I think that this guy's a baseball lifer. I think he eats and breathes baseball. And I think
Brandon Hyde was like that.
And
something switched from Brandon Hyde. At the end of 23 and the 24, something was different from the Brandon Hyde that we had from the years prior. And I think we all saw it. Like he became that boring manager.
Well, and I think that what I saw there, and again, I'm biased because I never liked Brandon Hyde. But what I saw was a guy who had a team that overachieved in 2023, and they won a lot of games. I don't want to say despite Brandon Hyde, but they won a lot of games where there wasn't much that he had to do to help them win those games.
Yeah.
Then you get to 2024, and he's got this great starting rotation. So the fact that the offense, outside of Adley and Gunnar in that first half, and even Santander, he didn't really get going until mid-May. But outside of Gunnar and Adley, the offense wasn't really doing much swinging the bat. But you had this 5-man rotation that was just nails for you. And so, like that first half, they're the best team in baseball until the pitchers get hurt. And
the offense has to carry us, and they can't. And then Brandon Hyde, you have to find ways to win ball games through your managerial style, and I don't think he knew how to do that. I think that he was still very much a rookie manager in that sense. So for me, he just didn't know what he was doing there. Craig Albertnez, he had an opportunity to manage 2 different ball clubs, and he turned them down. He got to learn under Stephen Vogt. I think that the guy is just a baseball guy. I trust the staff. I have blind faith in Craig Albertnez and his staff, because I think that I just feel like the guy put together a solid staff, guys who are highly respected and trusted throughout the major leagues. And so what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see guys like Colton Cowser and guys like Adley Rutschman. What I'm looking for from them in spring training, driving the ball over the shortstop's head, hard line drives into the gap, going oppo on a pitch outside. I don't want to see them selling out to hit the fastball 500 feet down the right field line. I don't want to see a bunch of hard line drives into the right field, the right field line stands. I don't want to see that. I want to see guys spraying the ball all over the field. And if I see Adley and Cowser doing that consistently, that's what I'm going to be like, okay, I think I can start trusting this, because how much was Adley doing last year that was all pull side? How much was pull side for him in spring training that led to that? Because Adley's good enough of a player that if he's facing primarily minor league pitching in spring training, he's going to hit 357 with 1,000+ OPS. It's when you start facing big league pitching, what are you doing there?
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you, and I just think these guys are going to finally relax a little bit. There's just so much weight off their shoulders, and I got a little annoyed about it, and I can pretty much say that most of the fan base did kind of too. Hearing that they needed an adult in the room and this and that, and I'm all with it. I got annoyed with it myself, but it's there now in multiple facets. But it's also there for Craig too and Donnie, because these guys are young. I mean, they're all of them are under 40, I think, except maybe Hank Conger might be 40. Cairo's old.
Alvarez is 43.
43, but still, we'll say under 45. They're young for what the positions that they're in my opinion. But
I'm 41. I think I'm
a big time hire. Yeah. What's that?
I said I'm 41. So I feel young.
Keep telling yourself that. No, I'm just kidding. Right. But Mike Schilt, I think is a big time hire for everybody, because this is a guy that managed at a big time level for the Padres. He wanted to go back into being a teacher. He said that I didn't want to be the principal anymore. I want to be the teacher. That's big. Miguel Cairo played for a really long time. He's been a manager in this league. He's been a bench coach in this league. He's done it all in this league. I think that's going to pay huge for the defense. We talked about Donnie and how good he is. He's just bringing that different element that we've never seen before. I think Craig sitting behind Stephen Vogt is awesome, because I think Stephen Vogt's one of the best managers in baseball. He's just got a team that just doesn't put any freaking money into his team, and he still finds a way to win. And guys play hard for him. And I think they're going to play hard for Craig. And then, I think they're, you're already comfortable with Drew French. He's done some wonders with certain guys, a la Trevor Rogers. But I mean, I think they have a good staff here. You got Hank Conger, who played a long time in this league. He's your bullpen coach. Like, you've got a lot of experience. You got 27 years of playoff experience on this roster. 27 years. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So they are young, and they may seem inexperienced, but they're coming from teams that have gone deep into the playoffs for a few seasons there that they've been there. I love even Craig's been there with San Francisco. He's been there with Cleveland. They've done it. They know what it takes, which is, Brandon had that one run with Chicago. I mean, but that was it. And Freddie did it a little bit with the Braves, but was their message getting through?
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know. But I feel like after that whole debacle last year, everything changed. And when I say everything, I mean everything from the front office down. The whole message changed. So I'm excited to see what we get out of these guys.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're about to get into that. Just want to remind everybody that we're also, this show is also brought to you by County Sports Zone. We are inching closer and closer to high school basketball playoffs. Remember that all year long, you can find score schedules and updates for every sport and every school all throughout the state at countysports.zone. Countysports.zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Zach, I think that we've seen a lot of ire from the fan base. You know, they hit the ground running coming into this off season. You know, they traded for Taylor Ward mid-November. They traded Grayson Rodriguez for Taylor Ward. Then they went out and they signed Ryan Helsley. They trade cash considerations to bring Andrew Kittredge back and immediately pick up his option. Then they go and they sign Peter. They were the front runner for one of the front runners for Kyle Schwarber. Missed out on him because he went back home to the Phillies. I think they had the same offer as the Phillies. Went back
Phillies
home to
had
the
to match
Phillies.
it,
Yeah. And then they go out and the next day they sign Pete Alonso. Then they trade for Shane Baz. They bring back Zach Eflin. But the Orioles don't bring in that top of the rotation starter. And so fans start saying, oh, it's the same old Orioles. They're cheap. They don't want to spend this. They don't want to spend that. The Orioles spent over $200 million in commitments this offseason. Over $200 million. They brought in 3 starting pitchers. They brought in 2 back-end relievers. They brought in 80 home runs. 80 home runs for the middle of their lineup. I look at what the Orioles
200
did
RBIs.
Yeah. 80 home runs.
Let's put it this way. Both of those guys had more RBIs at the break than our entire roster did at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Right. And they both had twice as many home runs as our team's leading home run hitter. Like, what the Orioles have done this offseason cannot be undersold. They went out there and did something we haven't seen them do since at least 2004, if not before that. They did something they haven't done in over 20 years. They spent real impact money on real impact players for this roster.
I mean, they had Ranger Suarez. That was their offer that they had for him for weeks. So it's not like they didn't try. He just took it to Boston and didn't let us go higher. That's a lot of money. Corbin Burns last year was 180 some million, right? That's a lot of money. They're trying to spend it, but they're not just spending it just to spend. That's the kicker here is they're not trying to fall into the trap that San Diego did when San Diego gave Eric Hosmer stupid money and he was terrible. You know, and they gave Xander Bogaerts stupid money and he's just been, like they gave a lot of money out to these guys that haven't performed. Yeah, they gave it out to Tatis and Machado, and that was well deserved. But you gave Darvish all this money. Now the dude's coaching in the freaking WBC rather than showing up at spring training. Yeah, he's still hurt, but you could be rehabbing with your team. No, he wants to retire with 3 years left on his deal. Like they gave out stupid contracts, and you don't want to fall in that trap. You don't. You got to be a little smart. And I think the Pete one is fine. That contract was great. They tried for Ranger. I'll say it in one record again. They had no interest in Framber at all. They cut that deal off quick. And many of the news outlets and the media guys were like, oh, they're in on him. They were only saying that because it made sense. And yes, it did make sense. The Orioles have money and they need a top rotation guy, but they weren't interested. From what I heard, interviews were worse with Framber than they were Devin Williams. And the Devin Williams interviews, he was told he was too mentally soft to be a closer. And they're saying that Framber's interviews were worse than that when you told a guy he's mentally soft.
Wow.
They didn't want him. So, yes, it made sense. 100% agree it made sense. But they just didn't want him. It just wasn't a fit. And sometimes guys are just aren't fit. He might not work out in Detroit. We have no idea. You don't know what you're getting. But
by the way,
they tried.
Apparently, I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what's going on with my I have 3 screens. 2 of them, including my main screen, blacked out on me out of nowhere. And this is after my power went out mid-show last week with Jeremy. So I have no idea what's going on here. So I'm just going to sit here and switch over to this screen. At least we didn't lose the feed here. No idea what the hell just happened. I got one black screen and one white screen. I'll show you guys if you want to take a look. Black screen, white screen. No idea what just happened. But and look, you made the great point there that you can spend a lot of money, but you've got to spend it responsibly. You've got
in our
to
market,
spend
you
it,
have to.
You've got to spend it responsibly because you're not gonna get by with Ranger Suarez and if I don't figure this camera out, okay, you're not gonna get by with Ranger Suarez and Framber Valdez being on $38 and $26 million a year contracts where with Valdez, he has an opt out after year 2, right?
Yeah.
But you're paying him $38 million this year. Ranger, he's got a 5-year. Are there any opt outs on that?
Good question. I don't believe. I think there is. Let's see. Spot rack. No, he's just got a mutual in 2031, which could have been the kicker.
So, right, and so you look at that. Do you want
that's
to
a
pay
brutal
these
contract.
guys?
Brutal.
Is there? I mean, isn't it $26 million all guaranteed? Like, there's no deferrals or anything?
No, that's just a luxury tax. So he's 7.6 this year payroll, 15.6 next year, 30.6 and 28, 30.6 and 29, 35.6 and 30, and 35.6 and 31. That's brutal.
Do you want to be paying that? Do you want to be paying that for Ranger Suarez when he's no good anymore? You talk about that's another guy who put on some serious weight this offseason. The fastball velocity has dipped each of the last 3 years. Yeah, he's great in October, and he's been a great pitcher. Also, look at his career high for innings. What is it, like 150? You want to give $26 million for a guy who goes 5 innings every start? I don't.
I'm talking about 30 and 35. The final 4 years, he's making, 60, 70, 140 in the final 4 years. So in the first 2 years, he's only making 7.6 and 15.6.
Yeah, I mean...
And then after that, you're paying a shit ton of money for a guy that has workout concerns.
And look, that's not to say that I don't want that I wouldn't have been happy if the Orioles had signed one of these guys, because I would have been happy because they are good pitchers. But would I be happy if they signed Framber Valdez and then he pitches to a 4.5 ERA in the first half?
At $38 million? No.
Yeah,
this fan base would explode.
Oh my God. Like, if he doesn't go out and give you 7 innings of 2-run ball his first 5 starts, like, you're going to be, who is this guy? Why do we give him that much money? If
he pitches to above a 3.3 ERA, that's a failure at $38 million. Mm-hmm. It's a failure. And that's a good ERA for most guys, but not at $38 million. Like,
and here's the other thing.
He's gonna fail.
If you go out there and you spend $38 million on Framber Valdez, are you swimming in the deep end next offseason when Skubal and Peralta are available?
No, because you gotta hold it on for freaking Trevor Rogers and Henderson and Adley, maybe, if he bounces back. And
right,
I don't know, man.
You're not swimming in those waters. So would you rather? Yeah, you could be pissed off. I get it. They went out there and said, we're looking to acquire a number 1 or number 2 starter. We have deep pockets. We have no financial limitations. They said that. We're not making it up. Mm-hmm. They said that, and they didn't do it. Okay, this team is hands down, top to bottom, better than they were last year. You look at the roster this year compared to 2023 when they won 101 games. Go look at that rotation. I posted this the other day. Go look at that starting rotation. Your 2 best pitchers were
Eflin.
Eflin wasn't on the 23 team. Your
23. Yeah.
Your 2 best
Kyle
pitchers
Gibson, wasn't it?
were Kyle Gibson and his 4.90 ERA, but he won 16 games, and Dean Kramer and his 4.12 ERA, 4.17 ERA, but he won 13 games. And Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez were nails the second half. But you look at their full season, their ERAs were well above 4, pushing 5. Like, look at that starting rotation. Then look at this Orioles starting rotation. Look at that lineup. Look at Adam Frazier getting everyday at-bats for the 2023 Baltimore Orioles. Jorge Mateo getting everyday at-bats for the 2023 Baltimore Orioles. Now look at the 2026 team and tell me you wouldn't want this roster compared to that roster. That bullpen was better, but you didn't know that the bullpen was better going into 2023. Bautista, we knew what he could do, but he was still largely unknown. Cionel Perez was pulled off the scrap heap, and he pitched well in 23, but it took him to the second half to really get going. Like, you didn't know what you had with that bullpen. Yeah. They were great in hindsight, but you didn't know that going into that season.
Everybody and their mother, I think, was a waiver claim, weren't they? Because
Oh my
Danny
gosh.
Coulombe, I think, was a waiver claim.
Danny Coulombe was he a waiver claim or is he? He was a waiver claim on March 28th.
Yeah.
He was a waiver claim on March 28th. Like,
and Cano, they traded for him late in the year. Mike Bauman gave you some decent innings then. They traded for Cole Irvin. Brian Baker was a claim, right? Wasn't he a claim?
Brian Baker was a claim. They traded for Cano in that Trey Mancini trade in 2022.
No, Cano was
he was the Jorge Lopez trade.
Yeah,
they traded
because he came with Povich too.
Yeah, and when Cano pitched in 22, he was awful. He pitched like a 7 ERA out of your bullpen, and then he comes out and doesn't give up a run in like his first 34 innings, something crazy like that. You didn't know that's what Cano was. When you saw him,
Cano pitched 72 games that year, and you had no idea what you were getting.
Yeah, and his ERA was like what 1.3.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, you had Cano with 72 games. Perez, nobody even knew who Perez was, 65 games. Danny Coulombe and Perez had a 3.5. Cano had a 2.1. Perez had a 3.5, 65 games. Danny had a 2.8 with 61 games. Mike Bauman had a 3.7 in 60 games. Felix had a 1.4 in 56. Baker had a 3.6 in 46. Fujinami had a 4.8 in 30. I mean, whatever. Austin Voth pitched 25 games. Jacob Webb, another claim. $2.5, and you were able to trade him? Or was that when he came back?
You lost service there for a minute. You got kicked out and then jumped back in.
Oh,
but you're
telling me it's waiting to join.
No, you're on. No, okay. but and the other thing is, all of those guys that were that good for your bullpen, where are they now?
Right.
Where are they now? Ciano Perez isn't on the team. Felix Bautista may never pitch again. Yenier Cano is on a minor league deal with the Orioles and might not make this. Well, he got a deal in arbitration, but he has options and he might start the year in Norfolk. Danny Coulombe doesn't have a team right now. Who are some of the? Brian Baker blew up, pitching down in Tampa Bay after the Orioles traded him. You look at all those guys. Mike Bauman's pitching in Japan. I'm pretty sure.
I think he just came back. Somebody just gave him a deal the other day. The Twins. No.
Right.
Who just signed? Oh, it was the Marlins? Somebody just gave him a deal the other day.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
What the Mets?
But the point is, look at all of these guys, and they had one good year, except for Danny Coulombe. Danny Coulombe was good multiple years, but all these guys that we're talking about, that bullpen was so much better. They had one good year.
And they just pitched really good. That's all it was. Yeah. They weren't better pitchers.
And the other thing is, they pitched that well because look at how well the rest of the team was playing. That was
defense was good.
Everything came together at the same time. That whole team gelled together. They were feeding off each other. And if you don't believe,
they what?
I said they were feeding off of each other.
And they gelled.
And they gelled.
I heard on the radio that means it's hogwash. That means nothing in baseball. That's what I heard on the radio once.
Dude, it's if people talk about that, that's why I get so I'm very John Smoltz when it comes to with the way the game has gone, because there are intangibles. There are certain things that a stat sheet and a computer screen cannot tell you. When you have confidence at the plate, when you are gelling with your teammates, that's why you will not convince me that morale wasn't down in that clubhouse last year. You will not convince me of that, because when you have a cohesive unit, you're all feeding off of each other, playing together as one unit. There's no measurement that can quantify that in the game of baseball, and that's why this game is so amazing. Like momentum and confidence is a real thing in this game. So I look at this team now. I see a team that seems to be confident, seems to be ready to get back out there and prove that last year was a combination of injuries and just flukes. And, I really believe in this staff. I believe in this lineup. I believe in this management and coaching regime. And honestly, Mike Elias, in my opinion, had so much to do this offseason to get this team back into a point where they're ready to contend. And for me, he did everything he needed to do. But okay, he didn't acquire a top of the rotation starter, but that doesn't mean that he won't. And it doesn't mean that
You
he
want to
won't do it
hear
next
how good the
offseason.
team was last year, and we want to talk about gelling and morale and stuff like that. In the second half, they won more games. So okay, they won more games than the Reds. Didn't the Reds make the playoffs? The Rangers, the Astros, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, the Tigers, and the Mets. And this was a team that shipped out, 9 guys at the deadline and still found a way to go 32 and 33. Morale's a big deal in the clubhouse. It's a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of discredited sometimes. And it's a little bit of annoying because look at the 2023 Rangers, the team that came in here and kicked our freaking butt. Were they very good? No, they weren't. They snuck in the playoffs. They, 83 wins or something like that?
They had a 12-game losing streak in August.
Yeah.
They had a 12-game losing streak in August. It took them like a really hot.
They were 90 and 72. I'm sorry.
But
I thought they were worse than that.
I think you might be thinking of the Diamondbacks because the Diamondbacks at one point in August were 8 games below 500.
Yeah.
But the Rangers were under 500 from like August 12th on. Like I think there was something like 9 games under 500 from August 12th on in 2023.
But you know what? They got hot. Yeah.
And they had a better manager. They had one of the best managers in baseball history at the helm. So I love this because nobody ever says this about me, except my best friend said, people think you're negative, but I know you. You're always positive about this team. Love Paul, one of the few positive O's voices on the platform. It's easy to be positive in February. I can tell you that because nothing's happened yet. But if I ever get negative, it's because of what I'm seeing with my own eyes. I'm not making stuff up. It's what I'm seeing with my own eyes. I'm overly critical about it when it does start to happen. But
we all want a winner. And if people are negative because they want a winner, that's fine. Like we all want the same damn thing. I get it. I do.
I'm like I said earlier, I'm a young 41, and I've never seen my team even in a World Series, let alone win one. And that's all I want.
I got close in 97 was close. 2014 was close.
97 is still my favorite Orioles team of all time. That 97
Ken Griffey
team
pissed me off.
Well,
he's an asshole. Excuse my French.
What do you mean?
Ken Griffey, dude, he's my favorite player. I'm literally in the stands. My cousin and I are both wearing his freaking shoes. We're standing on the top rope right next to the visitor's dugout. He's walking off the field. Randy Johnson's in there signing balls for us and stuff like that. And we've got Ken Griffey stuff on while, we're still wearing our hats and stuff, but we've got his freaking necklace on. We've got his shoes on. Like, you name it. We were all about Ken Griffey Jr. And we're just like, can you please sign one baseball for us? And he just looked at us and kept going. And I was just like, you're a dick. Dude, like, I'm 9. I don't even know how old I was, honestly. But I'm just like, dude, I'm literally decked out in everything that you represent. And you just look at me and walk away. Dude, I was so mad.
That is heartbreaking because he was my favorite player. The first baseball jersey of a player that I owned was a teal Ken Griffey Jr. jersey. I remember I
had 2 pairs of all his shoes, all 3 colors. I had 2 pairs. I had 6 pairs of Ken Griffey shoes.
Oh my gosh. I always had his cleats. I always had his batting gloves. He's the reason I wear my hat backwards. He's the reason we all wear our hats backwards. I remember my dad, my parents had just gotten separated. And so my dad was living with my grandparents until he found a place. And I remember going there we would be with my dad on Wednesday nights. And it was a Wednesday night. We were having dinner there. And I remember after dinner, he took me to the mall to buy the Ken Griffey Jr. Jersey. To know that he just was like, screw you, kid. Like that's heartbreaking. Still my favorite player of all time. But
yeah, dude, like I kid you not. And I don't want to get off tangent here. My cousin and I, we were playing out in the woods that day, and there were some old rusted out cars that were like in the bottom of this hill. Like they used to race, like dirt race these cars, and they got stuck down there and they left them there for years. Well, he jumped off one, like landed on a rock, and the rock came up and like literally went through his kneecap. Like he needed stitches, surgery, something. I don't know. But he was like, we literally just wrapped it up as tight as we could. His mom was a nurse, and my dad carried him through the entire stadium. And he said, I have to see Ken Griffey Jr. You want to talk about a kid that's like life was devastated after like he was like, he needs his knee operated on probably. Like you could have stuck a quarter through this thing. and played the juice box, and Ken Griffey just looked at him and walked away. We were so mad.
Oh man,
I was so mad. And Griffey doesn't know that story, obviously, but like it was just a story for us, and it sucked.
Did it make you not like him anymore?
No, but I was pissed that day.
Yeah, I'm sure
he's still Ken Griffey Jr.
Right, and the other thing is that like his reputation was the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, so he might have just had a bad round or something like that, and been in his head.
Don't
I get it now.
The all-time worst brawl in baseball history, in modern baseball history, was in 1993 between the Mariners and the Orioles at Camden Yards. There's a good chance that a lot of those players, because Griffey was part of that, there's a really good chance that they hated Baltimore.
Yeah,
possible. And the Orioles, it wasn't 96. The Orioles eliminated the Mariners from the playoffs in 97. This must have been before the playoffs. Must have been before the postseason that happened. But so look at me making excuses for Griffey. Look at me making.
I'll make him for him too. Man. But I bet you if he heard the story, he could take it back. He probably would. He's a good dude.
Yeah. I'm looking at some comments here. I think that the comments only started coming back on to me. Let's see.
I lost all of them.
Yeah,
when I went out.
Yeah, when I got booted. So let's see. Bradish or Rogers? We both agreed it's going to be Bradish.
Yeah,
he's the best pitcher on the staff. What the hell was he working on? What the hell was he? I don't know what that is. With all due respect to Kyle, Trevor Rogers earned that last year. Charm Center, that's Sean, right? Sean, I can't remember his name, but his last name. But he said this on X too, and I was like, did Bradish not earn it? Has Bradish not earned it by pitching to a 2.5 ERA since the second half of 2022? Like, and with what he went through. Look, Trevor Rogers got a 5th place Cy Young vote last year. He was voted most valuable Oriole. He'll tell you that Bradish should be the starter. And like you said, Bradish will tell you that Rogers should be the starter. I don't think either one I think both of them would want it. I don't think either one cares if the other one gets instead of them. But I just don't think that – I think that you should – opening day is reserved for your best starting pitcher. Your best starting pitcher is Kyle Bradish. He should be starting on opening day. That's my opinion on that.
I don't care who does, to be honest with you. Yeah. Out of those two. If it's Zach Eflin or something like that, then I'm going to be like, what the hell are we doing? But
we're
not there anymore.
That's the other thing. I also don't care if it turns out to be Rogers. I'm not going to cry about it, But right. I just think that Bradish deserves it. You deserve to know that Live Rewards members can win a share of $1 million in free slot play with drawings every Friday at 9 p.m. through the end of February and a final drawing on Saturday, February 28th. You must be present to win. You can find out more at livecasinoandhotel.com. That's livech.com. Just a couple more minutes here. I can see Zach getting tired. I can see it in his eyes. We've all got kids. We've all got kids that we got to get up early with. So
I didn't realize what time it was.
Yeah, it's especially first show back. It's really easy to get lost talking about baseball for an hour and a half, 2 hours. John says Cows can only improve at this point from last year's disaster. I wouldn't expect a big improvement. I mean, but again, to Zach's point, he's been injured basically since October of 2024. So if he's healthy,
he missed the whole offseason.
Missed the entire offseason. Then he gets back. He starts off 0 for 11 and then hits a home run and then gets hurt sliding into first base. Then comes back, hits a few home runs, goes into a slump, then jumps into a wall, breaks his ribs. That also got concussed on that play.
Now, I think the concussion was against the Phillies in August.
Oh, was it? I thought that
it wasn't the same time.
I thought he broke it. I thought they were playing the Phillies, and I thought it was on the leap into the wall.
No, it was June 12th. Kramer gave up a home run, and it was going into our bullpen, and he crushed it. And you could hear he immediately grabbed it and then kind of laid there, and you could see his fingers not trying to touch it because he knew the camera was on him, and he kind of just sat there, and you could see his elbow kind of pushing in on it a little bit, but he played since June 12th with broken ribs.
Oh, see, I thought he broke the ribs in that game in August against the Phillies when he leapt into the wall. because you
That was the
remember
concussion one.
that.
Because
Yeah,
he was
that
on
was the one where
7-day for that one.
yeah.
So the dude pretty much played at 50% the entire season.
Yeah, I'm willing to give him a pass for last year, but if we hit
he didn't have to play at all.
Yeah,
at all. There was nothing to play for.
If we hit mid-May and he's hitting 180 and he's striking out 35% of the time, that's a conversation
Different story.
that has to be had. AJ says Trevor Rogers and Heston Kjerstad both looking great in Sarasota right now. Not that I'm putting any stock in spring training numbers. There's not even numbers. They're just out there. Is it that the pitchers are always ahead of hitters at this point in spring training? That's one thing. But to hear the batters saying Trevor Rogers stuff looks nasty, to see him going out there against big league hitters and doing that kind of damage, you love to see it. It beats the alternative.
I like the chirping right now.
Yeah.
The competition chirping. I love that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The attitude. And Alvarez is really pushing that too. He's like, I want our guys talking trash, which I love that too. There's something about the Boston accent that just makes me think a guy's a good baseball guy. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Sean Whipple, we didn't have the coaching staff last year. Lynn, North, and Ecker are some of the most respected hitting coaches in the league. I mean, that's what you've been saying.
I didn't even talk about Brady North, but yeah.
I that's why, like, all you hear is, and Jeremy said it on this show last week, Jeremy Kahn, he said, I think that our two teams, the Orioles and the Ravens, got the two head coaches that everybody in those respective sports wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe Skip Schumacher, but I think everybody knew Skip Schumacher was the manager in waiting in Texas, so he wasn't really realistic. But yeah, like I'm super excited to see what these guys can do. I think that there's something about the way Alvarez carries himself that makes you realize that he is a player's coach. That he is that guy that's going to get along with that clubhouse, but he's also not going to accept subpar play. He's not going to say, "Oh, it's okay, you'll get him tomorrow." He's going to be like, "Look, you'll get him tomorrow, but make sure that you get him today too." You know what I mean?
Make sure you're here early tomorrow because we got some stuff to work on.
Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is just kind of funny. Should be spelled Kowser with a K. I mean, it's mean.
The dude gets a lot of heat, and I guarantee if you talk to him face to face, he'd probably accept all of it. I don't think he'd shy away from it.
That's the other thing. The other thing is, like, when I hate on Kowser, and I don't consider it hating on Kowser. I consider it being realistic about what he's been to this point. If I said that to Kowser, I probably wouldn't say it as sternly as I say it to everybody else. But if I went up to him, I was like, "Look, man, I know I've been hard on you, but, like, do you disagree with anything I've said?" He'd be like, "No." If he knew, that guy doesn't know a thing I've said, and if he does, he doesn't give a shit. Pardon my language, but like he would tell you exactly what I've been saying about him, that he needs to be better. Apparently, Kjerstad took Aiken deep. Aiken, what does that say about Aiken? I mean, Kjerstad was number 2 overall pick for a reason. Although, Zach, you've been on record as saying Aiken is very upgradable.
Yeah,
with this team. So,
I think he's serviceable, but he's upgradable. And this early in the year, I don't think it says either thing about any one of the two guys. I mean, they're getting their work in. It's cool to see for Heston's sake, but if he struck out, like, it's cool to see for Aiken's sake. Like, you probably would just say, "Oh, it's just Kjerstad," But when you see a home run, you're saying, "Oh, it's just Aiken." Like, it's just early on. These guys are getting their work in. I'm just glad that he's getting the ball over the plate. I'm glad that Heston's putting the bat on the ball.
Jake Fox will be the first one to tell you that nothing that happens in spring training matters.
Yeah.
Nothing that happens in spring training matters. It's not about by the time you get to mid-March, you want to see your best hitters looking like your best hitters. You want to see your best pitchers looking like your best pitchers. But nothing that happens before that matters. One iota. None of it matters. Yeah. So, I mean, it's about getting your work in and getting ready to go for the season.
Yep.
Let's see if there's. It is getting late. I'm getting tired too. I'm getting hungry.
Hungry.
Yeah,
I probably have to go to work on time tomorrow. This is great.
I don't even know if I'm off or not tomorrow. I do mortgages. We don't really ever have days off.
Like, so we get paid overhead to come in and, like, eat breakfast and, like, the owner talks. but then I get to save my hours for a floating holiday later, which I'll use to go fishing when the lakes open up. So it's great. It's a win-win for me.
That's awesome. Somebody that we haven't even talked about. If O'Neill comes out full throttle, does that mean he becomes a permanent DH?
No.
I don't think they're going to have a permanent DH because they have so many guys that they want to get into that slot. They want a lot of flexibility.
He's going to get his at-bats.
Mm-hmm.
I think O'Neill's going to have a nice season. I'm not saying he's going to hit 270 and 35 home runs, but in his role, I think you'll see maybe like 240 and 17, 18 home runs, which, again, in his role, I think is going to be great because he's not going to play every day. But if you get 18 home runs because you're coming in and you're hitting well against lefties, like that's pretty freaking good. And you're helping the ball club there.
Here's the thing about him. He came in last year. One of the reasons they brought him in is because they knew how much they struggled against left-handed pitching. They brought him in to mash lefties. He had like 157 against left-handed pitching last year. Is he going to be part of a platoon? He's going to start on opening day. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to be playing. He's either going to be DHing or playing right. He's going to be playing right field on opening day because there's no way that they're not having Adley and Basayo both in the lineup or Pete Alonso. So he's going to be playing right field on opening day, regardless of who's on the mound, because he has a home run streak. If he hadn't homered on 6 straight opening days, he wouldn't be playing on opening day. But aside from that, do you think that he is going to be in that platoon with Dylan Beavers? Where Beavers is.
Does Dylan Beavers even make the team right now? Like, I hate to even be that guy. But
I never even thought about that. Does he make the team? He led the majors in walks from his debut on last year.
Does he deserve it? Yes. I will go there 1,000%. But he's the guy with options.
Yeah.
If they don't make a trade, they got to do something else. And it's probably going to come from the outfield. Now, yes, you probably could cut Tavares and open up one spot. But with, obviously with Blaze, if Blaze has to play third or second or whatever he has to do, then yeah, you probably have a spot for him. If Westburg is not ready for opening day, but if he is, maybe.
I never even thought about it, but it's a fair point. The guy's got options. He got up here for a cup of coffee for the last month and a half last year. Does he even make the roster? It is a very fair question. We're all assuming he's going to, but does he?
I think ultimately, yes, I do. I do think he makes it, but I think the question should be asked is, does he 100% have a locked spot because of all the competition?
Right. He should be. Should he be in a competition, or is his spot guaranteed? And I think you're right. I don't think his spot's guaranteed. I think that he has to lose the job, but I don't think it's guaranteed.
Yeah. And I could see where he goes down maybe for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then comes up in May. And I don't think it bothers anybody, but I don't know. I think it just depends on the matchups.
This is such a fair question. How long will they stay with Cowser if he doesn't start hitting better? If we've reached mid-May and he's hitting 180 and striking out 35, 40% of the time like he did last year, how long do they stick with him?
June.
And then what do they do?
June 1st.
Do they send him back down?
Yeah.
Do they trade him?
No. Who's going to trade for that?
Right. And that's the other thing. I said to you on our show last offseason that the Orioles missed the boat. If they wanted to trade Cowser, last offseason was the offseason to do it. It was 100%.
I don't think they want to. I think they have a lot of confidence in him.
Yeah.
I think they love the guy.
Yeah. I think they do too. Charles, do you think Mayo or Mountie will be traded before opening day for pitching? I think they're trying. I think that's what they're trying to do. I just don't know if because like you said, Zach, Mayo's tradability isn't at its highest value right now. And what trade value does Mountcastle have at all?
I think with the second year, it's better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably land for sure. And it's affordable too.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe try to flip him with other guys to Colorado or something. I don't know. But I think the second year helps him more than just it would be him being a rental. Look, listen, he's not like he's bad. It's not like he's bad whatsoever. The guy hit 270 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So he hits really well with
OPS plus. or 114.
Yeah, and he hits well in runners in scoring position, and he plays a great defense. It's just you got to figure out the power. Putting him in Coors Field would resurge the power, in my opinion. So does that kind of figure out? I don't know, but I mean, it's not like he's a bad player. I mean, yeah, last year he hit the runners in scoring position for him last year dipped big time. It was at like 280 in 24. Last year was at 215.
He also missed 8 weeks in the middle of the season.
Right. He finished with 250 last year. So I'll give him that. Just 35 RBIs, but he only played 88 games, because he took a backseat. But he's 28. Again, Ryan O'Hearn was 29 when he got traded. So things could happen. He's proved it in this league to a point where somebody will throw something for him eventually. I just think Mike is going to not just throw him for anything, though.
He's got to find – if he gets traded, he's got to find himself with the team. He's got to hit a friendly ballpark.
Yeah, and I think Colorado's the perfect spot.
That wall broke him. And not broke him in the sense that he's not a quality big league player, but like we saw him hit 33 home runs his rookie year. And
what year did they move the wall?
2022. He hit
2020, the start of 2023?
No, the start of 2022 was when they moved the wall. Because I took my dad opening day that year, and that was the first time they had the big wall out there. Then they moved it back in prior to last year.
So in 2022, he was at 29% oppo, 2023, 30% oppo, 2024, 34% oppo, and then went back to 30% oppo last year. Pull rate, 33, 30, 27, and then 37 last year. So, yeah, the wall affected him.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely affected him. Fly ball rate, 40, 36, 34, 32. So he became a fly ball hitter down to a ground ball hitter. Right? Mm-hmm. That's been his biggest problem. He can figure that out, which they could very well figure that out for him this year. I think he'd be okay. Dude, I mean, he's still slugging 450 every year. It's just not falling.
I've gone to opening day every year since 2007. But in 2021, we were there, and he hit a piss missile for a home run to right field. That ball, I've never seen a ball leave a ballpark that fast. I mean, he made contact, and that hang time wasn't even 2 seconds. It was in the bleacher seats in under 2 seconds. I have never seen somebody hit a ball that quickly out of the ballpark. It was insane. The power is there, and he's got he's got pull side power. He's got opposite field power. He's got power to all fields. They did such an overcorrection with that left field wall that it got in his head, and he hasn't recovered. And they moved it back in last year, but you still really got to get a hold of one to get it over that left field wall. Not as much as you had to 2 years ago, but you still have to hit the ball 400 feet plus to get it out of left field. You're not hitting a 380-foot home run to straightaway left field. It's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even since his vertigo. Right. And this is what killed him, I think. He's played 253 games since he missed time with vertigo, but he's still hitting 272 over that time. But he's only hit 25 home runs with just 123 RBIs. That's what's killing him.
How many games?
253. That's what's killing him. I mean, he's got a 730 OPS in 253 games with a WRC plus of 110. So it's not like he's a bad player. It's just the power's gone.
Yeah.
The power's gone.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've never seen such a drastic drop off. I mean, to end 2024, I think it was from June 1st on, he and Ryan O'Hearn combined hit like 5 home runs from June 1st on. They were your 2 first basemen. You got 5 home runs from first base from June 1st on in 2024. And that's why they went out and got Pete Alonso. It was the most easily upgradable position for an offensive player. Was at first base for the team. That's why they went out and got him. I've always been
DH was horrible last year.
Yeah, and I've always been a Ryan Mountcastle fan. I have a lot of faith in Ryan Mountcastle. He's got to stay on the field. He's missed big chunks of time each of the last 3 years. And when he is on the field, he's just not driving the ball for power. He's getting his hits. He's driving in runs every now and again, but he's just not driving the ball for power.
So why they got Pete Alonso is, as a team, and so every single person who stepped foot and played first base last year, as a team, they hit the fewest home runs in baseball, hit 14, and then had the fewest RBIs in baseball with just 60. That's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And then you had the 21st ranked batting average, which I don't really think they care about batting average at first base too much.
Yeah.
But you had the 24th best OPS. Like, they needed somebody that could drive the freaking ball, and they went and got Pete. And that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, they and look, we've been screaming from a mountaintop for anybody that's willing to listen that the Orioles need to add a middle of the order bat for 4 years. And they finally did, and then people are going to sit there and say they didn't do enough this offseason. They did more than most teams. I think there were 5 teams that spent more money than they did. And those are like the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, the Yankees didn't do diddly this offseason.
Nothing. Re-signed what's his face, but that was it. He was guaranteed he was going back there.
Yeah.
He's nothing without them, and they're nothing without him. Outside of Judge, but you had no protection for Judge.
Somebody said, did you see the Yankees rotation? They're in trouble this year. Did something happen to their rotation that I missed?
Well, Cole's pitching right now, but you don't know what you're getting out of a 38-year-old guy coming off Tommy John. Luis Gil's hurt again, right? Schittler, whatever however you say his name. He's hurt. And then, look, Ryan Weathers is already throwing 98, 99, so that'll be fun to deal with.
You've got Max Fried. You've got
Fried. Fried got drilled today by Judge. Good Lord, he drilled him.
Oh,
Live
man.
BP, dude, just drilled him right in the lower leg. He turned around. He's like, "Come on, man."
Well, and then you've got Carlos Rodon, who he gives up a lot of home runs, but he's been really good.
He stinks, man. Rodon to me is like a guy who has a decent ERA, but he's no better than Dean Kramer.
And
he talks like he's freaking Max Fried.
You know what though, man? I'm gonna go put some money on Rodon to win Cy Young, or at least finish runner-up. Because last year on this show, around this time, you said the Blue Jays stink, and then they went to the World Series and were a half inch away from winning it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But hey, it goes back to, what did the Blue Jays do better than anybody else? The Blue Jays weren't the best team in the AL last year.
No,
hands down. But what did they do? That freaking clubhouse was rock solid.
Mm-hmm.
So let me keep hearing about how that doesn't matter on the radio.
Oh my gosh. I want to tell you something when we get off here, so that I learned.
I get feisty about the radio sometimes.
I do too. You know what though? I heard somebody going off about the Orioles the other day, and I recorded the video that I was going to post, and I was like, I should send this to Zach and see if this is a good idea before I post it. And then I was like, and then I didn't even send it to you because I'm like, there's no way that this is a good idea. And it's in my phone, but I did not press send to you or to Twitter.
I don't think people have figured out yet that most of my tweets the next morning are literally combating exactly what I heard on the radio the day before.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that, but I'll have to go back and look. It makes sense. I listened to the show.
I just get so mad, and I'm just like, let me just put the truth out there real quick.
I get really mad. I get really mad about this stuff. So you know what? I'm gonna call it, man, because it's 10:15. We've had shows go longer than this, but for our first one back, I think we've covered a lot today. If you want a lot of covering, you need to head to Leading Edge Auto Body. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, customer satisfaction comes first. Their team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. And they make it easy for free towing, pickup, and delivery. Find out more at leadingedgeautobody.com. Anything you want to throw out there? Anything you want to plug? We didn't even really talk about Kowar, the reliever that the Orioles picked up today or yesterday in the trade with the Twins.
Yeah, I mean, I picked him up. I was looking at him. He throws 97.8 was his average velo last year in AAA. With the plus stuff on that pitch was only 88. The sinker's at a 117 stuff plus, which is pretty solid. And this is AAA numbers, but I noticed the slider 53% whiff rate, changeup 47. That's pretty good. 9% hard hit rate against the slider. Again, pretty freaking good. It's just the fastball here, 55% hard hit rate. So between him and you, and I said they would probably DFA him pretty fast. There's a shot that Anthony Nunez could make the Orioles here. So when you look at his prospect savant page, it's littered in red. He's good arm here. There's 96, 97. Whiff rates last year in AAA, 34% on the cutter. Slider 48%, four seam 27%, changeup 59%, and sinker 7%. And hard hit rate was just 6% off of the slider. So it's a guy that we picked up late. He had to get added onto the 40-man. He hasn't had a whole lot of time pitching. I wouldn't be shocked to see him at some point.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of guys that are going to have an opportunity to make this team in the bullpen. Also, probably going to get a trade here for another bullpen arm. Because I know they can't be done with the bullpen. They can't be. So, Zach, great first show back. Looking forward to doing the rest of the season with you every Sunday night at 8:30 until football season starts. It's going to be mostly me and Zach. If there's a show that Zach can't make it, somebody else will be filling in. If there's a show that I can't make it, maybe we'll hand the reins over to Zach and somebody will fill in for me. Either way, you can catch us every Sunday throughout baseball seasons at 8:30 p.m. That's every Sunday night until football season. Thank you to all of our loyal, to all of our sponsors. Without you, we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, viewers, fans. Without you, we 100% do not have a show. So thank you so much. Zach, what can we plug for you before we get out of here?
You should know where I'm at by now. We've done this show for a while. Pigtown Sports. If you ain't following it, you ain't cool. Yeah. Catch you guys.